Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're here back at Matchless Gifts. Such an amazing place. We were just chatting with some devotees last night who are coming for a yatra to America. It's called Journey to America through School of Bhakti. And there are some places still available if anyone's interested in going. Get in touch with us. But devotees will be coming on the 23rd, I think, leaving the 23rd or something like that of May. So just in a couple of weeks.
1 week.
1 week, and a little bit more, no?
No.
Okay. And they'll be arriving in New York, stay for 3 days in New York, then we'll go to New Jersey, and then we're going to go to New Vrindavan, and then Gita Nagari. So we'll be gone for 9 days, traveling around. So if you want to come, let us know. Meanwhile, here we are, Matchless Gifts, reading Bhagavatam.
Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 61.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 61. My dear Lord, you have manifold energies, and these energies are manifested in manifold forms. With such energies, you have also created this cosmic manifestation, and although you maintain it as if it were permanent, you ultimately annihilate it. Although you are never disturbed by such changes and alterations, the living entities are disturbed by them, and therefore they find the cosmic manifestation to be different or separated from you. My Lord, you are always independent, and I can clearly see this fact. Purport. It is clearly explained that Lord Krishna has multi-energies, which can be grouped into three, namely the external energy, the internal energy, and the marginal energy. There are also different cosmic manifestations, namely the spiritual world and the material world, as well as different types of living entities. Some living entities are conditioned and others are eternally free. The eternally free living entities are called Nitya Mukta, for they never come in contact with the material energy. However, some living entities are conditioned in this material world, and thus they think themselves separated from the Supreme Lord. Due to their contact with the material energy, their existence is always troublesome. Being always in distress, a conditioned soul considers the material energy to be very much disturbing. This fact is explained by Vaishnav Kavi or poet. Krishna bole se jiva anandi bahe mukha, ataiva maya tare deya samsara dukkha. Yeah, I think he said it better than that. The living entity forgets the Supreme Lord and wants to enjoy himself independently, imitating the Supreme Lord. He is captured by the false notion that he is the enjoyer and is separated from the Supreme Lord. This material energy is therefore very much troublesome to the spiritual energy, the living entity, but the material energy is never troublesome to the Supreme Lord. Indeed, for the Supreme Lord, both material and spiritual energy are the same. In this verse, Lord Shiva explains that the material energy is never troublesome to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is always independent, but because the living entities are not independent due to their false idea of becoming independently happy, the material energy is troublesome. Consequently, the material energy creates differentiation.
Differentiation.
Oh, yeah, differentiation. I like this point in the verses saying, you are never you are never disturbed by such changes and alterations. What face was that? You are never disturbed by such changes and alterations. The living entities are disturbed by them. Isn't it true though? Like, change. It's very disturbing. Isn't it? And Krishna just like is the same, you know? And no matter how much you tell him, it's like it's just the same.
Well, I think it's amazing. He's not. You sorry, were you finished?
Well, you can temporarily speak, yes.
I think he's. Yeah, it is. That struck me as well. How much we're affected by changes in weather, changes in location, changes in facilities, changes in anything. Change is just a high stress situation for most people. Changes. It's a song by David Bowie. Those of you who know it, you know it. Like we're moving at the moment, and that's change, and that's highly stressful and from so many different angles and perspectives. But what's being said here is that Krishna is not disturbed by it because that's the nature of the material energy. It changes. It goes through 6 transitions. It comes into being, it's born, comes into being, stays for some time, creates some byproduct, dwindles, and then, actually there's 6 and then passes away, leaves. So, it's powerful. So we got a lot to learn from Krishna about not getting disturbed by such things.
Okay.
Not sure if you said anything, something positive. There was a man whistling, a homeless guy. Sounded like he didn't say something nice about the Krishnas. Because the Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand this, they want to be relieved from the material energy. However, because a Vaishnava philosopher is in full knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he finds no disturbance even in the material energy. See, there you go. This is because he knows how to utilize the material energy for the service of the Lord. In the government, the criminal department and the civil department may appear different in the eye of the citizens, but in the eyes of the government, both departments are one and the same. Criminal department is troublesome for the criminal, but not for the obedient citizens. Similarly, this material energy is troublesome for the conditioned soul, but it has nothing to do with the liberated souls who are engaged in the service of the Lord. Through the Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, created the whole cosmic manifestation simply by breathing out all the universes. The Lord creates and maintains the cosmic manifestation as Lord Vishnu. Then, as Sankarshan, he annihilates the cosmic manifestation. Yet, despite the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the cosmos, the Lord is not affected. The various activities of the Lord must be very disturbing to the tiny living entities. But since the Lord is supremely great, he is never affected. Lord Shiva or any other pure devotee can see this clearly without being blinded by Bheda Buddhi or differentiation. For a devotee, the Lord is a supreme spirit soul. Since he is the supremely powerful, his various powers are also spiritual. For a devotee, there is nothing material, for material existence only means forgetfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beautiful, lovely, wonderful, wonderful, like closing statements there. That ultimately, it's all Krishna's energy. And it really is only material if we aren't seeing Krishna within it. And that is explained in the seed verses, the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, where Krishna explains that Maya is simply the absence of connectedness to Krishna. Means that if I'm not able to see this camera filming or the mics we're using or the iPad, if we don't see something in connection to Krishna, then we're in Maya. And why is that? Because actually everything is connected to Krishna. Literally everything is connected to Krishna. There can be nothing that doesn't have some connectedness to Krishna. Even whatever, you can think of the worst things, somehow they're connected to Krishna in a sense that it's Krishna's energy. So like that. That's a very powerful point.
Next verse. Verse 62. My dear Lord, your universal form consists of all 5 elements: the senses, mind, intelligence, false ego, which is material, and the Paramatma. Your partial expansion, who is the director of everything. Yogis, other than the devotees, namely the Karma Yogi and Jnana Yogi, worship you by their respective actions in their respective positions. It is stated both in the Vedas and in the Sastras, and in the Sastras that are corollaries of the Vedas. And indeed everywhere that it is only you who are to be worshipped. That is the expert version of the Vedas. Purport. In a previous verse, Lord Shiva wanted to see the form of the Lord, which the devotees are always interested in. There are other forms of the Lord manifest in the material world, including Brahma and other demigods, and these are worshipped by materialistic persons. In the second canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that those who desire material benefits are recommended to worship different types of demigods. And in conclusion, the Bhagavatam recommends Akama, Sarva Kama Va, Moksha Kama Udaradi, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yachita Purusham Param. The devotees, the Jnanis, who are known as Moksha Kama, and the Karmis, who are known as Sarva Kama, are all aspiring to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Even when one performs yajnas, as stated here, Kriya Kalapa, he should always remember that the demigods are but agents of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the worshipable Lord is Vishnu, Yagneshwara. Thus, even when different demigods are worshipped in the Vedic and Tantric sacrifices, the actual goal of sacrifice is Lord Vishnu. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 23, it is said, Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante Shradavanta Tape mameva kunteya yajanti avidi purvakam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but is offered without true understanding. I haven't got anything to say.
Yeah, that last part was interesting. It hasn't been offered with true understanding. So it's interesting because in class this morning, it was discussing the potency of hearing. And even if one inadvertently hears but isn't hearing really listening, are they still benefited? And the answer is obviously yes, but not to the same extent that one is benefited if one is actually listening and trying to apply what they're hearing. So in the same way, if you make some offering, then something is there because at least we're trying to offer something to someone. But maximum benefit is there if we do it with true understanding. Thus, the worshippers of various demigods also worship the Supreme Lord, but they do so against the regulative principles. The purpose of the regulative principles is to satisfy Lord Vishnu. In the Vishnu Purana, 3.8.9, the very same thing is confirmed. Varnashram acharyavata purushena parapumam Vishnur arajate panta nanyat Shakaranam. Here, it is clearly mentioned that the karmic, jnani, and yogi, in fact, everyone worships Lord Vishnu if he is actually expert in knowledge of the Vedas and Tantras. The word kovidaha is very significant, for it indicates the devotees of the Lord. Only the devotees know perfectly that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is all-pervading. Within the material energy, he is represented by the 5 material elements as well as the mind, intelligence, and ego. He is also represented by another energy, the living entities. And all these manifestations in the spiritual and material world combined are but representations of the different energies of the Lord. The conclusion is that the Lord is one and that he is expanded in everything. This is understood by the Vedic version, Sarvam Kavidam Brahma. One who knows this concentrates all his energy in worshiping Lord Vishnu. The verse comes to mind is Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samambitaha. That Krishna says, I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me, and the wise who perfectly know this worship me with all their hearts. So this is the idea that once we understand that the Lord really is the origin of everything, that is definitely going to change our mind. He is represented by the 5 material elements as well as the mind, intelligence, and ego. So even if I'm on an ego trip, if I just remember that, oh my God, my ego is part of Krishna, it is connected to Krishna, Krishna created it, then all of a sudden we start getting off the ego trip because we start remembering Krishna. So like that. Anyway, quite a few nice points. So I think we shall conclude here. It is a beautifully rainy and dreary day outside. So we have to make a move. Okay, thank you all very much. Any closing words?
Thank you for watching.
Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki
Jai.
Jai.